Okay, so I just finished The Salt Grows Heavy. I inhaled this book. I finished it in like less than a day. I was zooming through it. It's so good. So it kind of, the way that it threw me into what was happening reminded me a bit of like Dead Astronauts and Born, where it's like you're just in this world and things are weird and crazy and creepy, and you find out why it's like that as you keep going, which I like. I really like just being in the middle of a situation and learning about it as I go instead of all of this setup and introduction, because it's like, dude, I'm a big girl. If you just tell me what's going on, I can figure it out, you know? Like, I like media that trusts that its audience is intelligent enough to go where you want them to go. Like, I feel like a lot of TV shows don't do that anymore, and it's embarrassing. It's like, I'm not six. Even a 6-year old could grasp. A 6-year old should not read this book, probably. But, oh, I was even talking about this. This is so unrelated, but with like the original Halloween, it's just like you'll figure it out. Like they throw in clues and they don't explain them. Like when he finds the matchbook, or they just throw you into Michael being a murderer. They don't like explain it. And then the later movies, there's so much exposition. They're not like, it's like they don't think that their viewers can figure it out on their own. They're like, I don't know if they'll get it. We have to like, this is the matchbook, you know. So anyway, The Salt Grows Heavy was like that, where it trusts that you will know what's going on. Like, it just throws you in. It doesn't explain, like, this is the mythology that I'm operating with as a base, and this is what happened, which is why your main character is where she is. Like, you're just plopped into her narration, and things unveil themselves as she's talking to you, narrating to you, and it's just so good. I loved the androgynous plague doctor. Like, oh my god. What? I never knew how much I needed an androgynous plague doctor in my life. Like, I'm obsessed. I always, when I read this author's books, I always feel so much artistic inspiration, because the imagery and the character descriptions and the world that is built is just so like, I want to draw these characters. And then like they reference like Scylla, which is one of my favorite myths ever. I was so excited to hear that come into play. And then just it's so creepy. Like, I could totally see this being made into like a live action adaptation, although I don't really want that to happen because I'm not actually a fan of live action adaptations. Although some I don't know what channels, like, I feel like Amazon does a good job bringing books into the live action world. Anyway, like, when you read this, it's so vivid and it's so eerie, and like you have such a good sense of the surrounding things as well as what's happening right in front of you, that it would just be so easy to make this into something that you watch, because you're experiencing it in such a great way. Like, oh my gosh, so good. So I inhaled this book. Absolutely loved it. It was so uncomfortable sometimes because of how creepy it was. There were like some, ooh, like almost like Lord of the Flies type feelings, but I really did not enjoy that book. But like some of the aspects of that, like the smart bits, I think, without the like blaze, you know what I mean? Like some of that, like, oh, I don't want to spoil it, but at the same time, like this combination of mythology, dystopia, societal desperation, like post-apocalyptic era, like all of those things. Like, what year is it? I don't even know. Is this the future? Is this the past? Is this a totally different universe? It's like you could almost see, it's definitely like fantastical, but it doesn't feel childish, if that makes sense. Like, it's just, ooh, it's so creepy. It's so good. It's like eerie. like I can vividly imagine all of these characters and the world that they're in, and just the narrator especially. Like, I love the main character. I love their relationship with the plague doctor. Their like budding friendship that could be something more, maybe will be something more. You have to read it. I'm not gonna say. But I also like that that's not like the main thing, because like there's a genre for romance. It's called romance. If I wanted to read a romance, that's what I would read. And there's such a good balance of like eeriness and reflection with like a little sprinkle of will they or won't they, like, oh, I just really liked it. It's a short book too, so there's not like it can't be a long video, because I really have said all I could say without spoiling it. But like horror aspects, dystopian aspects, apocalyptic vibes, I just really, really enjoyed it. And like when I finished it, I was like, whoa, like so good. Oh, I loved it so much. Go read it. Okay, I'm done.